Cool. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. If you're watching this recording, we'll keep letting them in. They keep coming. So good to have you. What is this? Gosh, Tuesday, the 24th of October. Man, the year is almost over. It is going fast.
Crazy. Right.
So it is crazy how fast it's gone. But we appreciate you guys being here. If you're watching this and you are from another company outside of EXP, welcome. This is always open to everybody, all agents, all companies everywhere. We do this every Tuesday, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. And this has been good. I've been telling people here lately. In fact, we just got a home. We got a home under contract on yesterday, actually, full price offer. And it's been three deals back to back to back that have all come from stuff that I've picked up on these Tuesday masterminds. Which I'm like 21 years in. I'm like, I don't need this mastermind, whatever. But forcing me to be here, every week because Kathy and I kind of head this up and leading it. It's like it's just working, picking up new stuff all the time. So anyway, this morning, it's gonna be awesome. Mitch Ribak is here from Florida. And Mitch is well known in EXP, one of the first, really the first big independent broker owner to make the move over here several years ago. Brought his whole company over, or a bunch of agents from the company, 40, 45 of them, whatever it was,
Oh my
and
God.
has just continued to do some amazing things over here. But one of the great things about the company, and one of the great things about Mitch, is the way everybody just gives back and pours in and pours in and pours in to each other. We're not all connected financially, but we're all owners of the company at EXP because of the stock. So we just have a vested interest in helping each other grow and stuff. And Mitch has written a book for realtors. He sent me that one time. I sent that out to a bunch of people. Great book, whatever. And just it's going to be a great training. So lots of stuff he could be talking about today. How he made 100,000 a year working 4 hours a day. Which I think it's about working smart. I know that, and
It is about working smart.
working hard, but working smart. So this is gonna be good. It's real easy to be busy in this business and really get nothing done.
Right.
So, I think we'll probably talk about that as we go. But Mitch, thank you very much, man. We know you're busy, and you don't benefit at all from this group and helping us and directly.
Right.
But it's the way the company works. We appreciate you being here for sure.
Yeah,
So
it
thank
it
you.
just takes away from my time eating bonbons and playing my guitar. So,
There you go. We
Well,
appreciate it, man. So yeah,
yeah.
take it away, man. It's all yours. Thank you.
All right. So I appreciate you guys having me on, and hopefully we'll give you some stuff to work on. Uh, but I will talk really quick before we start the presentation part. Is your mindset a little bit? Just had this conversation with my agents yesterday locally, and we've got about 175 local agents here that are with EXP with us. And if you're listening to the media right now, the whole world is falling apart. Now, it kind of is falling apart, but that's a whole other story. But I'm talking about the housing market, not the rest of the crap. And I want to just put this out there for you to think a little bit differently. And what do I mean by that? So right now, rates are 8%, right? Which, by the way, when I started in 2001, they were 8%. It's not a horrible number. My first house was 14%, so let's hope we don't go there. Uh, but when someone asks you how the market is, I'd be telling people right now it's an amazing time to buy. And why is it an amazing time to buy? Firstly, 18 months ago, you couldn't buy a house. There was multiple offers. You're paying 50 plus $1,000. And in most markets, some markets like my California group, we're paying 100,000 plus per over asking price for everything. So yeah, the rates were down, but you're paying a lot more for your property. Right now, you don't pretty much don't have any competition when you're buying a house. The other thing we don't know is we don't know which way the rates are going to go. So if you buy a house now at 8%, and by the way, new construction, you can still get it like 4.99 right now. I've seen several of those. But if you're buying a house at 8% and it goes up to 10, you won, right? If it goes back down in the fives, you refinance. But what happens if it goes back down in the fives? Now you're going to have multiple offers again. Prices are going to go back up where you're offering over market price. Because the challenge we have right now in our industry is we're 5 million, I think it's 5 million homes short of what we need to have a normal market. Like locally here, we have 2,300 single family listings. A normal market for us is 5,000. So what happens is, and the other thing that if you look at your MLS, because everybody's in different places here, in most places you're going to find that your sales this month are no different than the sales last year at the same time. You just have more inventory, so it looks like less is selling, but it's still the same amount of buyers. right? So anyway, I wanted to throw that out there because it's a conversation I'm having a lot these days. And how you dictate to your consumer is how they're going to believe. Now, I will have a caveat that I throw into every time I talk to a consumer. I say, I don't have a crystal ball, but this is what I think. From what I understand, rates should get down back around 6 in the next 12 to 18 months. I think once you have the election and stuff like that, that might change some things. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyways, so today we're going to talk about how to make $100,000 a year working 4 hours a day. Now, the reality is the stuff I'm going to show you is not what I've been doing the last 10 years, is what I did before that. The last 10 years, I've been working 100 hours a year to make about 150,000. That's a whole other conversation on my modern real estate team. So that's my next book I'm working on right now called The Big Lie, which I'm really excited about. All right, so let me pull up my PowerPoint here and so you guys can follow along. If you have any questions, I won't see the chat box, but just when you guys can, if there's questions, just ask during the thing, and we'll answer your questions as we go. Here we go. Are you seeing two screens or just one screen?
We're seeing the split screen on there.
Screen.
Yeah.
All right, so I can either do it that way or I could do it. Well, we'll just leave it like that. That's fine, right?
You're good.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix that. So, yeah. So one thing I'm not good at, but my kids used to make fun of me all the time because it's the first online dating service, and so I was like, tech company, and I had no idea. I used to have my kids use Word Perfect back then, if you remember Word Perfect back in the day, and they would actually do all my stuff for me because I had no idea how to use a computer.
I can tell you real quick, Mitch, if you go up there at the top where it says display settings, that little drop down at the top left.
Top left. No, I don't see that anywhere.
I'm looking here. It says show taskbar, display settings, and slideshow.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I think that right there, if you click on that display settings.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Swap presenter view.
Yeah, there you go. Swap presenter view and slideshow. Try that.
There you go. Look at that. That work?
There you
go. All right. Yeah, just switch my screens. I have multiple screens here, so
yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, cool. All right, so how do you? So we're going to talk about two different things today. The first is I'm going to ask everybody, what business are we in? And most people get this wrong. So if someone could just kind of unmute for a second and say what business we're in, or type it in the box. Again, I can't see the chat box, but what business are we in? Because everybody gets this wrong. And if you ever see me speak before, don't answer. But somebody has to answer because it's no fun if nobody answers.
Chuck will answer.
Mark.
What business are we in?
Yeah, marketing business.
Right. I'll just go ahead and answer from a time perspective. We're in the lead generation business.
Lead generation.
Yeah, we're in the lead generation business. And by the way, it's every business. I've owned 23 companies over the last 43 years, ridiculously old. And they were all lead generation companies, all the way from my paintball business to my online dating service to my restaurants to my ad agencies. Everything was about generating leads. This is no different. So that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. Not how to generate leads, but two specific areas that you guys can do that cost you virtually no money and you can do starting today. So we're going to start with open houses. Now, I know you've all probably done open houses at some point. I'm going to give you some numbers just on my experience. When I first got into real estate here in 2001, I knew zero people. I knew my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and her mother. And my girlfriend lived with me, so she wasn't buying a house from me. And her mother had a house. And so when I walked in the office the first day meeting my colleagues, two women ran up to me and they're like, "Let us tell you about real estate. Don't do internet." And I remember I'm the first online dating service, so internet was a given. They said, "Don't do floor time," which nobody does floor time now, but back then it was a big deal. And don't do open houses. And I sat there after they walked away. I said, "Well, open houses, people are coming to me. Floor time, people are calling me, and internet generates leads." So I said, I later learned through those two people that people who do the least amount of sales will give you the most advice. Right? And that's why they both sold 2 homes that year. I sold 36 homes my first year without knowing one person. 28 were from open houses. The other 6 were from floor time. All right. So if you do these correctly, they're a gold mine. So I'm going to walk you through it. First of all, and it'll a lot of this will tie together as we go through. I don't do gated communities because gated communities are a pain in the butt if you're trying to do an open house. So I don't do gated communities. I only do vacant houses. I don't want to displace anybody because you'll learn this in a minute. I want a home where there's two more active listings in the neighborhood, right? And that are vacant, preferably. And I would like homes that'll be on the market for some time. Now, this has been a little challenging the last couple of years, but it's not now because things are sitting now. I mean, things are back on the market for 45, 60, 90 days right now. That's at least where we are here. And we're a booming market, by the way. We have the Space Center here, and it's crazy, but we still have things sitting now 60, 90 days. I don't advertise ever. And this is a big thing that nobody believes me in, but trust me when I say this. When you do advertise, we've learned that only 10% of your visits come from an ad. And by the way, I test everything. I run everything for months and months and months. I don't just try something once. Everything I'm teaching you today has been tried, tested for many, many years. I didn't do 2-hour open houses. I did 10 to 4. Now, these days with wireless everything, why not just work out of a vacant house and stick a bunch of signs out, right? So stop sitting in your house, by the way. If you're sitting home, you know what nobody's doing? Knocking on your door asking you to sell them a house, right? Stop sitting on your house. I talked to an agent the other day. By the way, when you're older, the other day was actually 4 months ago. But she came in, I'm not doing well. What's going on? She'd been in the area for about 4 months. And I said to her, well, what are you doing? She goes, well, I'm on social media every day. I go, well, how's that working? I go, obviously not because you have no sales. So I made her get out of the house. And when she left here, I said, there's a coffee shop I want you to go to. And I want you to do this. This is for all of you. This is great stuff, by the way. And by the way, my ADD mind's going to go in multiple directions and just deal with it. I got you stuck with me for an hour, so just deal with it. So I said to her, go to the coffee shop, and here's what I want you to do. This is the magic words. And I've sold probably 24, if not more, homes at Publix, which is our grocery store here. I said, go to the line because there's always a line there. And the person in front of you, I want you to say, hey, how's your day going? And they're going to say right back to you, they're going to say, oh, it's going great. It's going good. Very seldom will they say it sucks, once in a while. And then they're going to always, 100% of the time say to you, how's your day? Oh, I'm in the real estate business. It's crazy. And they're going to say this, oh, you're in the real estate business? How's the market? Every time, every single time. And so, one of the things I do for my friends locally is I set them up and I send out the market update every month. Would you like to get on that list? Almost everybody says yes. I now have added one more person to my database. So I told her to do this. She goes to the store. She does it. She calls me 2 hours later. She got a listing. The guy she talked to was looking for someone to sell his house. I mean, how random. I mean, I look like the smartest guy in the world, of course, but it's pretty cool. All right, so back to this. So open houses. So we do lots and lots of signs. I would generally do 25 to 30 signs. I make sure I do on the main road. They'll do like 10 signs, 5 on each side of the road, and then making sure no matter how they're going to get to the area, they're going to get in through there. So lots of signs, no advertising, and of course I do balloons on every sign and flags, and I make it look good. I don't just 5 minutes beforehand go out and do anything. I do it professionally, or I do it correctly. And we're going to tie all this reason in together. Now, I never actually do open houses from 10 to 4. And the reason why I don't advertise is because I can't leave if I advertise. I'm stuck there. Now, if you do this with a partner, you can do that. But I always did 10 to 4. And my goal is one buyer. What do you need? You need a laptop. I don't ever print out listings anymore, right? I just text them. And what do you get when you text someone a listing? You get their phone number, right? Same thing with listings in the neighborhood, listings in surrounding neighborhoods. I don't print everything out. So obviously, I have food and water. I don't recommend alcohol at open houses. I know some people like to do mimosas and stuff like that, but that's just a nightmare waiting to happen. So here's your messaging, and this is what's really important. So we're going to get into the reason why I was able to do this. It took me about 3 months to put the system together of trial and error. So first of all, everybody says when someone walks in the door, are you working with a realtor? And the answer to that is you don't say that because they say yes every time. In fact, we checked it. It was over 90% of the people said yes. So it's no different than you walking into a store and they say, can I help you? You say you're just looking. Yes is just looking, right? And then so what you're gonna say is, which realtor in town are you working with? What we found is 90% of people didn't have a realtor, right? And so this was a huge game changer for me. So when I say that, I'm gonna take it a little deeper. So they say, "Oh yeah, I'm working with Kathy Carter." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Kathy's awesome." And I even if I don't know the person, I'm gonna tell how awesome that person is. Oh, Kathy, great person. How do you know Kathy? Well, she's been sending me listings from new homes in the year. Oh, okay. Um, so she showed you any property? Have you ever met her? She goes, "Oh no, we just registered on our website." If they say that, which is a lot of people, by the way, that's not her customer, right? I personally, just so you understand me as a person, I would never in a billion years steal a customer, but that's not a customer. Someone registered on a website is not a customer, right? And the chance that Kathy probably just set them up in listing updates and never called them once and never called them again. That's the reality. They're using it as an excuse not to have me talk anymore, right? But as you can tell, I don't ever shut up. So anyway, so you're not really working with Kathy. Well, not, I guess not. And then I would work with that person. If they say, "Oh yeah, Kathy's been out showing me property," I'm actually gonna call Kathy as soon as they leave and say, "Hey, Kathy, I just want to let you know that Mr. and Mrs. Smith came in and they looked at my listing. Just want to give you a heads up." Now, again, I'm probably different than 80% of the realtors out there because 80% of the realtors would try to steal the customer. I just morally can't do that. It's against my ethics. So the other part of this is when they're walking around and they're coming back out. And I said, so I always say, so what do you think about the house? And they're always like, oh, they always say, oh, it's nice, not really what we're looking for. I go, oh, is this the price range you're looking? Oh, yeah, it's great. Well, I have two more homes down the street that are vacant and that I'd love to show you, that I'm allowed to show. If you want to take a break, we can go over there and show you those two homes. 80% say yes. So what do I do? How do I set that up? I call the listing agents. Again, a little more challenging up until a couple months ago, but pretty easy right now. I call the listing agent. I say, look, I'm doing an open house, but I want to show your homes during the day. If I get anybody through, is that okay? And can I have an open listing? And I always tell them if somebody's there showing a property, I'll wait till they're done before I walk in. So they say yes. I want to go look at those homes. I put a little be back in 30-minute sign on and I go show them the home. So why did I do that? I did it for two reasons. One, it's really hard in an open house to have a conversation, right? People are in, they're out. You get 5 minutes basically. So I've learned that if I can spend 30 minutes with you, they're going to fall in love with me because look at this. How can you not fall in love with me? I'm adorable. At least the 80-year-old women, they find me adorable. But so I would show the house. Now my only goal is showing the property. This is the important stuff. Is I want to find out when their buying time frame is. So if they're buying now and they're pre-approved, I'm going to close my open house. That's why I don't advertise open houses. So the reason why this came up, I remember it was like maybe my second or third open house I did. Somebody came in at like, I started doing the 6 hours. Going like, I got nothing going on. I was brand new and I knew nobody, so I just stayed in an open house all day. And then so I remember one guy coming in. I could actually visualize the guy who was like 6'2", he had black hair. I don't know. I remember that guy, but he changed the way I do open houses. And I said, hey, I get off at 4. Would you like to do? And I was advertising at the time because that's what people told me to do, right? And this is why I decided not to advertise. So I say, oh yeah, I'll meet you at your office because we didn't have wireless back then, 2001, at 4 o'clock. And so of course he's not there, and I'm calling him at 4 o'clock. Hey, where are you? Coming? Never responded, never called back, nothing. So I realized at that point, if I could somehow get them to spend more time with me, all right, and then I can close my open house. I get a buyer because my goal is one buyer, right? If I get one real buyer. So if they're there, I say, you guys seem like a great couple. I go, can I be honest with you? I really don't feel like doing my open house today. I go, you guys want to go look at more property? They always say yes. Everybody wants to look at houses, right? But I know they're pre-approved. I know they're buying. Now, if they told me, yeah, we're probably going to buy in the next 60, 90 days, I'm not closing my open house for that. I'm closing my open house if they're buying now and they're pre-approved. And that was how I got 28 sales every time. My least amount of sales from open house was 24. Okay? So I don't think there was too many open houses I actually did 6 hours once I started doing this process. Most would be a couple of hours. So how do you tailor that to the person if it's not your listing? I tell a person, look, I might have an appointment this afternoon, so I'm only planning on 2 hours, but I might stay there all day, depending on my appointment goes through. So I'm setting up the expectation that I'm going to leave the open house. right? I didn't advertise, so nobody's mad at me, nobody's coming by. I went and picked up my signs after they said yes, let's go look at more homes, and I'm done. Any questions on that? It's really simple, by the way, and it works phenomenally well.
No, I did not understand why you do not do advertising.
Because if I advertise, I have to stay there. If I advertise, I can't close the open house. If I say I'm going to be there 10 to 4 in my ad, and somebody comes by at 3 o'clock, I am now a terrible realtor. Right? Nobody's going to like me. But if I don't advertise, I pick up my signs and go. Again, 90% of the people who come to your open houses come from signs. And we just tested this last year again. I've tested this so many times. One of my agents challenged me on it. I said, "Look, I will spend a few $100s because we did it. We did it every way you could, right? By a couple $100s, but we advertised it on Zillow, Realtor, every way you could advertise open house. And we tracked it. We had like 10 people come through, and one was from our advertising. It's held true every time. I've probably done this test a half a dozen times over the years. Every single time, it's been 90% from signs, if not more. So that's why I don't open house. I can't leave, right? I do want to talk to you a little bit through this part. First of all, if you're using KV Core, they have a great open house app. Goes directly into your CRM. Every lead that you get, you need to set them up in listing updates. So most people never do that. They just get a lead and they stick it in their CRM and they try to get a hold of them. They call them once or twice and then they're done. So when I set everybody up in listing updates, this is how that works. It's one of honestly the most important part of lead conversion. And if you guys know, I'm known as the godfather of lead conversion throughout North America. So I wrote a couple books on it. So lead people use you as a realtor for one reason only, with the exception of a few people that are very loyal to you, which is not a lot of people. They use you because you happen to be in front of them when they're thinking about buying or selling. That's it. That's the only way I could sell 36 homes my first year, 50 my second, 80 my third, 80 my fourth, without knowing anybody, because I happen to be in front of them when they're thinking about buying or selling. And I'm a little shy, as you can tell, but not too shy. So so I set everybody up on listing updates, but it's very important that your listing updates are set up in a broad mode depending on their buying time frame. So if someone's buying 90 days or longer, they're going to get a more broad search. What do I mean by that? So someone comes in, look, it's a $400,000 house. I'm going to set them up between 350 and 450, or maybe even 3 and 500. Because in a tight market right now with low inventory, you want at least 25 to 35 matches in the area, right? And the reason being is because now when you set up a listing updates, they're going to get emails at least 2, 3, 4 times a week from you. If you do it based on what they're actually looking for, they're only going to get a couple of listings, right? So if you're in front of them once or twice a month versus 2 or 3 times a week, you're out of their mind. You're not even part of their brand, right? But every lead you get, and I don't care where you get leads, by the way, every lead you get, no matter where you get that lead from, needs to be set up in listing updates. Very important. Then again, KV Core does that. We'll get them into the app for you, then you set them up on listing updates, you're all set. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, and I'll tell you the story behind it, because I learned this from Pete Middleton. If you guys know Pete started our luxury division for EXP, and they just had 1,000 agents last week in the luxury division, which is amazing. So Pete and I was in San Diego with Pete, and we're at a bar. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were having a few drinks, and we meet these 20 guys, and they all own security companies. And Pete just finished showing me his brand new cars and how beautiful they were, right? Pete does amazing marketing stuff. His cars are gorgeous. And he's just finished showing me that. So we meet these 20 guys, we start talking, and with both of us, you're gonna know we're in real estate within 5 seconds, right? There's no way we're not gonna tell you that because that's our business. And so one of the guys says to Pete, he goes, "Yeah, I'm actually thinking about buying here. My daughter just moved here. He goes, I'm looking for something between 3 and 4. Do you have a business card?" And Pete goes, "No, I don't have any cards on me. Let me text you my info." So he just finished showing me his business cards, and now he's texting his info. Why? Because now he has his phone number. He sold the guy a $3.4 million house. Now, would the guy have called him? Probably not. Like, how many business cards you get? You look at the next day, who the hell is that guy? Right? And throw it away. I have a drawer next to my bed. I collect business cards all year long, and I do it once a year. And I just, after a year, I have like 1,000 cards, and then I put them in the trash. I don't know why I save it. It's just kind of a joke thing to me. I've been doing it for years. All right, so this is your messaging. This is how you do open houses, and this will generate consistent business with you, right? But the most important part of this is that relationship you're building in that 30 minutes. And I want to give you an example of that. I love when they tell me they have kids, right? I'm an athlete, baseball player. Tried to play football, but at 5'5" and 100 pounds, they wouldn't let me in. 1 second, sorry, drop something. I fidget when I talk, so I'm always dropping shit. And so anyway, so I don't talk about real estate when I'm with people ever. Right? I talk about them. I talk about their family, ask them questions about their lifestyle, all that stuff. From showing probably I'll take notes, but I'm always mentally taking notes. But I love when they have a kid that's in sports because this happens so many times over the years. So, say it's baseball season. I don't care what sport it is. Does Billy play sport? Oh yeah, he's in baseball. Great. When's his next game? On Tuesday. I will be calling on Wednesday to see how he did at his baseball game. And I will tell you that is probably my best conversion of commitment from a customer because nobody does stuff like that. Right? Nobody does it. So build your relationship. This is a relationship business. The more you build relationships, the better you'll be. I don't ever pressure anybody buying houses. I have fun. Like every single person I've ever shown homes to, I take them to lunch or dinner. Right? I golf almost every guy I've ever sold home to, I went golfing with them if they golfed. But I'm trying to create that time because I want them to get to know me as a person because that is very, very difficult for them to leave me as a customer, as an agent. And I'll give you an example. I only sold full time for 4 years. And then my brokerage on my 5th year. And I sold about 30 homes every single year without ever generating one more lead. All because of open houses. So I didn't follow up my past customers. Some of the stuff I'm teaching you next, I didn't do. So we built for our agents to do, which works great. But this is really important to build those relationships because if you're a one-shot wonder, eventually the well dries. Right? You need to build relationships. And the statistic from a database is 7 out of 100 of your contacts are going to buy or sell a home this year. That's an NAR stat. All right, so build relationships. So let's look at the numbers. Firstly, why did people stop doing open houses? Because they didn't get a sale right away. Right? We're in the instant gratification world, right? So if you're not getting instant gratification, you're generally not doing a good job of doing this, right? So basically what you do today will generate business in 90 days. And one more thing before I forget to say this, because I might forget. I want you guys, again, we talk about mindset a lot. I do not want you to wait till January 1st to start your business for next year. I want you to look at 11/1, the same numbers, 1 and 1, right? As New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and start your business on November 1st. Because the worst thing for realtors that I see every single year from every agent is they're broke in January and February. Why they broke in January and February? Because they didn't work in November and December. My best closing months were always January. So, for instance, when I started September 2001, in January of 2002, I had 9 closings. My worst closings were 6 closings in January in my career, right? And why was that? Because I knew nobody else was working. Why does nobody work? It's 2 different reasons. It's the holidays. All those 4 days constitute 60 days for some reason. But by November 1st, if you didn't hit your goals, you gave up. I'm just gonna start all over in January. I mean, I've heard this from so many agents over the years. If you hit your goals, you stop. Oh, I worked my ass off this year. I hit my goals. I'm done. The reality is you should stop pressing November 1st, and you're going to have a great January and February versus starting in January to press and have a great March and April. Right? I can't tell you how many agents would come to me when I had my brokerage and borrow money off me. I was like the bank, and they borrow money off me in January and February every year. So again, I'm just throwing this stuff out for you to think about. But I'm going to give you some pretty easy numbers. My goal was 2 visits per open house that I add to my database. 1 buyer preferably, but I'm going to use 2 as a number. And these are the numbers that I kept, by the way, when I was first started doing stuff. So that means I have 8 visits per month, right? I guarantee you, right? I'll even write you a check for $25,000 if it doesn't happen. No, I won't. I guarantee you out of those 8 people, 2 are definitely buying a house. It will always depend on whether you decide to actually put the effort in to retain that customer, right? But what happens when you do that? When you get to April, I think it says on the next slide, right? Well, yeah. So when you get to start marketing in January and February, you have no sales. Now, but you can obviously have sales the first day. I sold my first house 5 days after I got my license, which I started the day before 9/11. So 5 days in, that Saturday, I sold my first house to an open house. But in March, your first person from January, one person from January is buying a house. In April, one person from January, one person from February, and so on. It just continues to roll like that. In my 4 years of selling full time, I had 2 months consecutively that I had no sales. And it was April and May of 2004. But in June, I had 13 closings. So it just the way the ball rolled. But the reality is, I had a consistent cash flow my entire real estate career of selling full time because of open houses. Make sense? Any questions? No? All right, cool. All right, so next is your database. Do me a favor. You guys have to participate, by the way, because I don't want to just sit here and talk to myself because I don't like talking to myself. I've done this like 8,000 times. It's not that fun for me. So if you don't participate, it's not fun. So here's what I want you to do. Everybody pull out your phone. Pull out your phone. And I want you to go to your contacts. Now, I don't know how, I think on your contacts on iPhones, you got to scroll all the way to the bottom. And I want you to put in the chat box how many numbers you have. If you're on an Android, I believe it's at the top. There's someplace at the top you can see the number of contacts you have. And I want to see the numbers that you have on that. And if you don't participate, I'm gonna just yell and scream like a baby. Since only a few of you guys actually dare to put your faces on here. All right, so we got one 7,647, 1658. Right. This is great. 1261. All right. 1624. You guys have so many sales sitting in your phone. 723. So, all right, that's good enough to start. 40, Kathy, 4,000 is crazy. Crazy numbers. I mean, I'm pretty popular. I only have 2,000. But so the statistic is 7 out of 100 of your contacts are going to buy or sell a home. But how many of you have actually taken those contacts out of your phone and put them into a database? How many of you guys actually worked those numbers and done that? And I can tell you, I've trained this to thousands of agents. I can name on one hand how many people have actually done the work. So I'm going to take a step back and just talk about business for a second before we get into this. So again, I've owned 23 companies, with the exception of my paintball business, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing back then, but I made $1 million a year, so it was okay. Working 3 days a week. By the way, best business I ever had. If I had to do my life over again, I would have accepted that my partner stole 200 grand from me and kept the company going. Because it was unbelievable. $1 million a year cash in 1983, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 every year. I worked 6 months, 7 months out of the year and worked 3 days a week. So, and if you ever want to start a paintball business, let me know. It does hurt when you get hit, but it's fun. All right. So, but every other business I ever did, the first thing I did is figure out where my customers are. It's the foundation of every single business out there. If you don't know where your customers are, you don't have a business, right? How many of you are out there right now trying to build a business that you have nowhere to go? You don't know what you're doing, right? It's very constant in this business. It's in defense of most realtors, they're not business people. Like, I didn't learn this stuff right away. I learned this stuff because I made millions and millions of dollars, and I spent millions and millions of dollars figuring stuff out. Even when we had the paintball business, we spent $30,000 a month on marketing, even though we were sold out because I wanted to be really good at TV and radio marketing, right? So your database in your phone, as you see some of the numbers are up there, is a gold mine of business. 7 out of 100, right? Jeff, would you have 7,000 people in there? Right? How many is that? How many sales is sitting there, right? Now, right now, some of us, like my 3/4 of my phone is realtors, so that doesn't work for me as much. But we're going to talk about right now, how do you do this? And I just got off the phone with a coaching session. I do free coaching for some people. And so I started coaching her 2 sessions ago. So a month ago, we do every other week with her. And I made her do this. I want you to go into your phone, and I want you to do for a half hour a day, every morning or every night, either way, I don't care. I want you to text every single person in your phone and say, "Hey, Bill, I'm updating my contact info. What's your email address?" Now, she did this. She had 1,200 people. She got 800 email addresses. Right? So what's that? 56 sales. Think about it. Now, why do people fail? Because they don't build a foundation. So people have asked me all the time, how did you work 100 hours a week running your 100 hours a week running your brokerage and write books? Because I wrote 15 minutes a day. This is the same thing. So big projects are never done because they're overwhelming. They're overwhelming because you think you got to sit down and do the whole project. You don't. Like I'm working on a new book right now. I literally come in the office and I spend 15 minutes a day working on my big live book. It's really exciting. And that brings me to another thing real quick before we get into this. We have plenty of time. You should have some sort of structure in your life. And I'm going to tell you mine, not because I want you to follow my structure, but this is how I live my day every single day. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, not really because I want to, because my dad told me it would happen to me. It's just because I'm freaking old and I wake up early. And so I'm up at 5 o'clock. I spend an hour on the couch with my dog, hanging out, usually catching up on my crime shows, having a cup of tea or two. That's my day. And I take my dog for a walk for 20 minutes. We go for a walk and she does her business. I come back home, take a shower. I end my shower with a 3-minute cold shower. If you've never done a cold shower, you should. It's life changing. I said hell no. Jarek Robbins, Success Coaching, taught me this, and it changed my life. You get 4, 5, 6 hours of unbelievable focus when you do that. I get in my car. I drive 30 minutes to my office. I listen to comedy the whole way to the office. I laugh my ass off because I only listen to really bad raunchy comedy. It's funny as hell. And I literally laugh my ass off the whole way here. I get to the office at 8, usually 8:15. I play my guitar for 30 minutes every morning, and that's my meditation before I roll my day. And then I write for 15 minutes, and I do my first appointment at 9 o'clock. That's every single day, Monday through Friday. And so what does that do for me? It sets me up for a very productive day. Whereas most people wake up, don't have any idea what they're doing. If you're not time blocking, if you're not really building a business, and we're gonna teach this next time this class for you guys on are you building a business or a job, because it's really important to understand. Most of you guys have a shitty job, right? That's just real estate. I know people selling 80 homes a year, they have the worst job in the world, right? They have no life, they have no family time, they have no friends, they just sell houses. Good for them, right? But my motto in life is: are you chasing money? Are you chasing freedom? I'm chasing freedom. Right? It took me many, many years to figure this out. So my goal right now, especially with the younger people, is understanding what your most important job in life is. Your most important job if you're younger is your kids. Being a mom or a dad is the most important job you do. So why I started teaching this class, because you literally could do this in 4 hours a week, right? Anyways, so let's go through this. This is your sphere of influence. So I'm going to assume you've downloaded, you've exported everything into spreadsheets now. And you're going to have 2 lists. You're going to have a list of everybody who's your past customer, your friends and acquaintances in your market area. So when you export your list, you have to go through your list now. That's going to take about 7 months because you get 7,000 people. But you're going to go through that list and you're going to identify this is someone that's where I grew up. This is somebody not in my market area. I mean, I have tons and tons of friends on my phone from Boston, where I'm from. But I obviously don't go to Boston and sell houses anymore. I didn't sell when I was there. But so you want that list as your first list. Your second list is everybody else. So everybody, for me, it's everybody from Boston, everybody from everywhere in the country. I have friends all over the country, right? So everywhere else that I don't surface, because I'm going to build a referral business with that group, and I'm going to tell you how to do that in a minute. So the first group is you're going to use an email program, whether it be Constant Contact or MailChimp. Those are 2 that I use. I use MailChimp. You can use either one; they both work fine. The beauty of this, when I first did these programs, I did them with phone calls. Now you can do it with email and be in front of people a lot more than with phone calls. Okay. All right, there you go. All right. So let's talk about your market area people. And by the way, this is, again, the people who do this, they've been killing it with it. It takes a little time, a couple months to get rolling. Although one of my agents did this, and within 90 days, she had 6 listings and 4 buyers. So it all depends on your database. Timing, right? Everything's about timing. So you start with something. Hey, this is hey Jeff, just filling in a little bit what's going on with my family. Life is going good. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Just a little 2-sentence thing. And one of the things that I've started doing for my friends and family is keep them updated on the local market here in Brevard County, Florida. And every MLS out there that I know of, that everybody that ever tested does, sends you a market update every month. Right? Everybody gets that. We actually turn it into an infographic, so it's a little cleaner than just sticking a bunch of links. And we copy and paste it in the middle. Right? Really simple. And this is the most important part. We end with, as you know, as a realtor, I work by referral only, and I could really, really use your help. If you know anyone looking to buy or sell, would you mind sending me their contact info? I never ever say, give them my contact info, because they'll never call me. Yeah, so I'll leave that up if you want to take a picture of that so you have it. But that's really important that you end with that. Here's the challenge. Most realtors never ask for business. What's number one rule of sales? Sales 101, ask for the sale, right? If you're not asking for business, what do you get? Nothing. Well, I didn't think you thought you were too busy to talk to me because you never asked me to help. I know lots of people buying and selling. I didn't know you weren't busy, right? And this doesn't matter how busy you are. And it's about doing it just the way it's written, by the way. It's because again, we tested this, right? This is how you do it. And it's I could really, really use your help. Because why do you do that? First of all, accents really you could use your help, right? And people that like you will help you. That's simple. So think about this. If you know, so say I'll just use Jeff and pick on Jeff. So Jeff has 70, I thought it was 7,800 people in there, something like that. So say you ended up getting 5,000 emails, and 2,000, 2,500 was a half are out of the area and half are local. Right? Assuming you didn't live in Colorado Springs your whole life. Maybe you have, I don't know. Too cold to live there. But so that's 2,500 people getting a message from you every other week. And you're asking them for your help, and they all know you. Don't you think you're going to get business from them? Of course you are. Right. So this is your market area people, right? And the next one. Oh wait. Oh, by the way, you have to write 6 of these. And the other, we'll get into I never stay on track with my slides, but some will be vendors. Like the next one might go out and say, hey, you know, as a realtor, I work with lots of vendors. If you ever need a good plumber or electrician that's been vetted, let me know. Right. By the way, here are the stats for last month. Boom. Right. Simple. And then you end with, as you know, as a realtor, I work by referral only. I could really, really use your help. If you know someone looking to buy a sell, would you mind sending me the contact info? Blum, blum. Next one might be, are you curious about what's going on in your neighborhood? If you'd like, I can set you up so you're getting listings and you're getting all the new listings that come up in your market, in your neighborhood. Boom. Same thing. You can do it for the market, right? Now, when someone raises their hand, I take them out of MailChimp and put them into KV Core. I don't want you to plug everybody into KV Core for the reason being now your database is too big and you'll never work anything. You only want people in your KV Core database that's actually looking to buy or sell, or asking you for this, right? If they're not, keep them in MailChimp. Just be mailing from MailChimp. Because what we've learned over the years of having massive databases, which we did, you know, when our agents got up to 1,000 leads in their database, they never worked the lead again. They opened up the thing, were so overwhelmed by that, they just didn't do it. So don't do it. Keep all your mailings in a separate place and put your people that you want to work, your 50 to 100 people that are buying or selling, put those into your KV Core. I'm full of useless information, aren't I? Okay.
I was going to ask you that question. Why didn't you put it? Because I saw that on the other slide. You know, don't use your CRM. Which
yeah, that's the reason. Okay. And again, this is from years. You know, again, doing
sense.
what I did, being the godfather of internet lead conversion in particular, it really taught me a lot about realtor habits, right? And it really, I found, you know, we tracked all this stuff. I mean, I checked everything through. We had, just to give some numbers, we had raw registration leads on the internet are generally converting at about 0.75%, less than 1%. We converted 6%. I mean, we did great numbers because we had ISAs making phone calls for us, which we were the first people doing that back in 2006. In fact, Julie Inman, who's the ISA director now for EXP, was my ISA manager for 16 years. So I love that. I got her a great job. You know, I started the ISA department for EXP, and then they wanted me to keep going. I go, I don't do day-to-day work. Come on, I'm a big picture guy. I did that for him. I'm way past that stuff. But let's hire Julie. So, anyways, so yeah, you want to keep your CRM really clean because you can do all your mailings through MailChimp, right? Now again, when you set somebody up with listing updates, sure, they're going to use CRM. That's the one thing about buying or selling. Okay, so yeah, out of area things. I'm going to tell you how this all happened because it's really interesting. I found. So my buddy Joe's the one that convinced me to get into real estate. Okay. It looks like Tim has a question. Tim, what's your question?
Yeah, thanks, Mitch. First of all, appreciate you pouring into us. This has been amazing. You want interaction, so you get it.
Sure.
how are you addressing what I'm hearing from agents all over the US is deliverability is really going down because of canned spam acts and so forth. There's, we used to get, 91% deliverability and now it looks like it's maybe 30. Are you familiar with this? Have any
Yeah,
recommendations
we're
of?
getting 50, we're getting 50-60% with our mailing through MailChimp.
Okay.
Here's my message on that. Don't worry about what you're not getting, only worry about what you get.
Yep.
So I'll give you a quick story
Good
about that.
advice.
I have lots of stories, as you can tell. So when I was the first person doing forced registration on websites back in 2000, in late 2001, early 2002. And everybody would call me up and say, "I can't believe you make people register." These are other realtors, right? Because there was nobody really using websites back then. But I was like, I'm going to spend $1,000 a month marketing. I'm going to capture leads. I'm not going to trust them to reach out to me. And I asked that to Rizzo, how many people have reached out to your website? Well, nobody. I go, well, I'm capturing 15%. And they're like, well, what about the other 85%? I go, what about them? I don't care about them. I care about the 15%. And that's why I sold as many homes as I did my second and third and fourth year. Because my internet program was ridiculous. So don't worry about the stuff that's not being delivered. It's not relevant, right? It just means that only 60% of people see your message. Oh, well.
Yeah. So the glass is half full. I get it.
Always full, yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah, of course. So I'm in the business for 3 months. My buddy Joe is a big developer in Boston. He's the one who convinced me when I lost $82 million in 2000. So if you think your life is bad, I probably had a little worse. So I lost $82 million and I was broke and I had $14,000 to my name. And my buddy Joe's like, Mitch, get your real estate license. You'd be great at it. I'm like, no, I hate realtors. Every realtor I ever had sucked. I mean, I just never had a good realtor. I bought 7 properties up to that point and never had a good experience. And so anyway, so 3 months into the business, I really realized that it was worse than I thought it was. Like almost every realtor I came in contact was terrible. And I don't mean that to be mean to realtors. It just was the fact, right? And they weren't trained properly. They didn't know what they're talking about, or they were just mean. I mean, when you're a new agent, experienced agents just mean to a lot of times. So anyway, so I called up Joe. I go, Joe, I said, it's crazy what I've learned. I go, you picked the wrong realtor. It could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. And I go, so if you know someone looking to buy or sell a home, let me know, and I'll interview realtors for you. He goes, well, actually, my friend Bill is looking to buy a house, and that's not his name, by the way. It was 22 years ago. I don't remember what his name was. And I go, well, let me call him. So I call the guy up and I say, hey, Bill, Joe told me you're looking to buy a home, and we talked about Joe for a few minutes. And Joe and I have been friends since we were 15. We played in a rock band together when I looked cool before all this shit happened. And and Bill said, yeah, my wife and I have been renting for 20 years and we had no idea how to start looking for a house. And so I said, well, one of the things I do for my friends and family is I interview realtors to make sure we can find a realtor that's compatible with you. And so I go, would you like me to do that? He goes, yeah, that'd be great. So I went on Yahoo, no Google at the time, went on Yahoo and found 3 realtors. And I figured if they're advertising online, they must be a little bit savvy. Interviewed all 3, found the one I liked. And 2 months later, I got a phone call. I got a check for $1,400. And it's like, oh, holy crap, that's really cool. And from that point on, I would call my friends once a quarter. So now instead of doing that, because emails, we didn't have MailChimp back then. We didn't have email programs back then. So this is what we say on there now. So I'm not going to read it to you, but this is what we send. And you send this once a month. All right. So if you want to take a picture of that, you can send it just like it's written, right? And again, so now you're creating a referral business. If I had to do my life over again, I would never have sold a house. I would have just done referrals. So much easier, right? Yeah, I would never die. I have friends of mine. A friend of mine just sold highrises.com to realtor.com. He made a fortune just doing referrals. Another friend of mine, Mark Washburn, up in Boston, he has 5 websites. All he does is referrals. And they make a fortune working 2-3 hours a day. So this goes out once a month. The only other email that goes out, this is a list of email subjects we talked about earlier. The only other email that goes out is I send the market update once a month. 2 weeks after that, we send the things to do. And what it is so, one of the things I get to do, one of the fun things I get to do being a realtor is share my top 10 things to do in the Space Coast of Florida. And you put your list in, and then you end with, as you know, as a realtor, I work by referral only, blah, 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 blah. Why are you doing this? Because it's not about the content. It's about the contact, right? I am now in front of them every other week, forever. It's all about it. If you have to be consistent, of course. If you're not consistent, nothing works, right? So it's all about the contact. not the content, but this content is stuff that people like. People get a kick out of the top 10 things to do, and people love market updates. They love seeing what's going on in the market. So if you do those things, is the thing right there. If you do those things, that's going to propel your business. Now, is it going to happen overnight? No. It might. I mean, you might get listings right away or say a buyer right away, but don't plan on that. But don't ever stop. Nobody works their database in our business. Nobody even prepares a database in our business. They start with past customers forward instead of looking what they already have sitting in their phone, right? Or on Facebook. How many friends do you have on Facebook? Same thing. Go on Facebook and Messenger, right? I have 5,000. If I wanted to do this, it would take me 7 years. I have 2,000 people here, 5,000 people on Facebook. Actually, I would just hire a VA to do it. I wouldn't do it, but the point is, nobody's going to come knocking on your door to buy or sell homes. And if you're not systemizing your business, you're not building a business. You got a job that sucks. Right. So we got about 8 more minutes here. I'll open up to any questions or anything I can help you guys with. You just tell me whatever you want to learn. I'm glad to teach you.
Really good stuff, Mitch. Just so everybody knows, you had mentioned the app that KV Core has for open houses, which and I'd forgotten about that because yeah, we just did one this last weekend. It was good, but it's just called Core, guys. If you look at it, if you do a search in the App Store, I've got an iPhone, so in the App Store, search Core, and then like just open house, and it came right up. Here, I'll show you just so you can see it. Core open house. So it's right there. Core open house, KV Core. So you can find that, download it, log in. So we'll have to start using that. That's good to know. Give that to everybody that comes in the door. Like, or get them set up on that somehow. I have to look and see how it works. I didn't even know we had that.
Yeah, it's really cool. Most of my agents use it. They love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tracy Wiggins uses it. She just said in the chat. So.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of EXP, there's so many tools. I mean, probably I would say one of the flaws with EXP is there's too many tools. There's so many things for you guys to do that you don't do it. So don't. I'm a simple guy. I like literally everything I've ever done in my life is simple. I don't like the complication. I think that's why I've been so good at lead conversions. I didn't make a big deal out of it. What do I know with lead conversion? Got to pick up the phone, right?
You know what?
Go ahead, Kathy.
Okay, I was going to say one thing, going back on that, on your database. I've thought about this many times. I've never done this. I wonder if anyone has done this when you're asking for business at the end, like, my business is dependent on referrals. I'd appreciate, you keeping me in mind, whatever that script was you had there at the end. Yeah. I've thought many times, if you're reaching out to your database, your past clients, people who already know, like, and trust you, they want to help you, right? And so I've thought about sending an email out and just saying, hey, I'm a little bit short of my goal this month or this quarter. I need at least 2 more sales. Who can help me out there? Because I think, again, if these are people who know, like, and trust you, and you go almost more of a direct ask like that, I guarantee some of your people are going to be referring people to you. Have you ever done anything that direct?
What
are your thoughts? I'd love your thoughts.
Everything I do is direct. I mean, I just ask people in business. And what I had to do, the reason why I came up with this program this way, because I was trying to do stuff that people would actually do. Like, I knew agents were going to pick up the phone, call their people. Like, you should literally, if you could call your database once a month, that you would have a lot more results than doing the email program. But I had to pick stuff that agents would actually do. Right. So like I said, I used to call my friends once a quarter for the referral stuff for people up in Boston and up in New England. So the more, and I don't care if you put it in your own words. I just know what works that I've tried and tested over the years that works. So you can always switch things up. I'm a big believer in not reinventing the wheel. I mean, I invented a lot of wheels, and so just follow the way it's designed because it works.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, Kathy, it's funny that you say that. I had Fonda Hatmaker, she's a top producer in our area. I had her to be a guest speaker on one of my calls with my mentees, and she said she definitely asked around this season, hey, it's looking kind of slim on my books. Who do you know that might, want to buy or sell real estate? She certainly asked that. So, yeah.
When, again, if these people already know, like, and trust you, they want to help you.
Right. Yeah, I've never had a problem. I mean, I honestly think this is the easiest business in the world besides my paintball business. I just never really understood the difficulty of it. I find that the reason why people fail at this business is because they just don't either plug in, or they don't implement, or they're chasing shiny objects. And my message to you, if you're chasing shiny objects, is if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Mhm.
And I see it all the time. I mean, I see it. Oh, one of my agents said he hired an ISA company, right? That he's paying, right? And I said, well, who are they? I go, what's their track record? Have you talked to anybody that's using them? Well, no, it just sounded good. So he's paying $500 a month. He's probably not going to get anything from it, And those companies work on churn and burn, right? I know I'm gonna lose every customer within 60 to 90 days. So there's 1.6 million of us in the United States. There's plenty of churn and burns to go, right? Everybody's trying to find the next best thing. The next best thing is actually just doing the work. One of the things we did a while back, and I do have to end at 1 minute of the hour because I have to get on my 12 o'clock later on. The one of the things that we've learned over the years is I lost my track. I lost where I was going. I hate ADD. I love ADD, but I hate ADD. I tell people I'm not just ADD. I'm ADD. But anyways, if you want to build a business, you have to do the work. Oh, I know what I was going to say. We did a test with our agents once, and I think we had 20 agents at the time, and we tracked every minute of every day for 7 days. You should do that. And really take a look at yourself, and then look in the mirror and go, am I really building a business here, or do I just like being a realtor? And by the way, it's okay either way. But if you want to build a business, you need to build a business, right? And if you're half-assing it, you're not building a business. I'll leave you with one more thing. Unless there's any other questions there, I'll leave you with one more thing that's important. I think part of the reason why people don't do a good job at our business is because they paid $1,500 to be a realtor.
Yeah.
Right? The barrier to entry is nothing.
Yeah.
Right? $1,500. If I go out for dinner in a hotel room with my wife, it's $1,500, right? Although it usually involves buying shoes and dresses and a purse for one night, so it cost me $5,000. But besides that, I still don't get the whole purse thing. By the way, never will understand it. It's an investment, she tells me. So here's what I want you to think of. That's what I'm going to leave you with. You need to have the mindset that you invested $250,000 to start your business. If you did that, the question I always ask people, and I know I'm going to tell you the answer because I don't have time for you guys to answer. If you had invested $250,000 to do your business, what would you do differently? The answer is everything. Everything. When I started, the first day I wrote a business plan. Right? I ran a business. I didn't get into real estate to have a job. I gave to real estate to run a business. So thanks, guys.
Very cool.
Thanks,
Mitch, thank you.
Mitch.
I know
Thanks,
you have to
Mitch.
go. We
Great
appreciate
stuff.
it. We'll see you
So
back in
good.
November. We'll do
Thank
the
you.
next training.
Yeah,
That'd be
sounds
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Thank
you,
you, Mitch.
Thank you. So, guys, real quick, we'll wrap it up. One of the things that he mentioned, again, like I think it's real easy to be really busy in this business and get nowhere,
Yeah.
and feel like you're getting things done. But when you really look at it, everything he said could be done in 4 hours a day easily. Tracking MailChimp, sending out an email, doing some video CMAs. We've talked about that. That could go out in those market reports. There's a lot right there that you could do and just have a concise blocked out time in your schedule, to where it will just really hum. One of the things I was going to mention that he mentioned, and Kathy, if you anything you want to jump in on, he had mentioned, and I learned this a long time ago, like so many realtors start pulling back this time of year. We're going into the holidays. And he mentioned, you got Thanksgiving, you got basically Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's, Day, basically like 4 holidays, and people will take the next 2 months off because it's the holidays. They've either hit their goals and they're just done, or they haven't hit their goals and they're frustrated. It's the rates and all this blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to wait. I'll kick it back in come January. That is such the wrong move right now. The thing I learned way back when was this is the time to ramp up the marketing. Just like Mitch, I interviewed him a while back and we talked about this because my January and February were two of the biggest months of the year every year for me, with my business, because we would do the opposite of what everybody else does. And I learned that through the coaching program that I was part of. Like we would ramp up our marketing this time of year and we would pick up business, because the other realtors are pulling back. All of a sudden now I start standing out, and then we would have these closings in January and February. So it's something to think about, and everything he talked about could be implemented big time over the next couple of months that could set you up for a great start to 2024. So anyway, just things to consider with all this. Kathy, any last thoughts to take us out?
No, I think the bottom line is it's just be in touch with your database. That's where agents just fall short. They don't have a systematic way, like he was talking about. And if you will just build a database and stay in touch with it, you will likely get the business that you're wanting to get. And I love what he was talking about, this open house too, a little bit different, way, not advertising it and doing that way. But I always have a couple of houses that are listed in the area. If my house isn't the right fit, the open house, I always want to make sure they know about the other, some other ones. But yeah, some good stuff. So
great stuff. And you could advertise if you have somebody there sitting there with you that they could stay in the house, and you need to pull out for a couple hours and go look at.
I was thinking that when he was talking. Yep, same thing. Exactly.
I will tell you, like this, how just to share with you guys real quick, because it's stuff that we learned, and I did put it out on the. We did a tip of the day, but for some reason we're having some technical difficulties with getting the emails out. But something I put together last night to send out to everybody. This house that we just did, I'll just share with you real quick. Back, we've had several masterminds on here about client events and things that we could do, different things. So one of the things we had happen here, probably it's been 8-9 months ago. There's a couple that are in our small group that we lead with our church. And they wanted to go buy a house, so we worked with them. We helped them buy a house. Well, we ended up putting together an open a housewarming event, for them about a month after they moved in. Things that I picked up on these Tuesday masterminds. Took all those tips, and we'd never done one before, but we did a housewarming. Sent out the invite to all their neighbors, all up and down the street, whatever, along with their list of people they wanted to come. Well, the guy who lived across the street came over. Okay. And we met him, and sure enough, he's retiring and moving to Arizona. Can we help him sell his house? Absolutely. We go over and look at it. He'd lived there for years. The house is paid off. His wife had passed away several years earlier. It needed a lot of work. We ended up basically listing that house as a fix and flip, but we got in touch with an investor that we work with a lot. He came in and looked at it and loved it, ended up buying it. So we ended up double ending that deal. We got both sides, buyer and seller. Closed on that. The investor fixed it all up. We just listed that house on Friday, 4 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever that is. And I put it all over social media, new listing, whatever. I did go into KV Core. Lane, my wife, decided she wanted to do an open house over the weekend. Let's see if we can pick up some business, maybe even double end this, whatever. We had a free weekend. She wanted to go down there and sit for a couple of days to do that. So again, taking stuff I've learned in here. We used KV Core, went into Marketplace, hit Property Boost. Okay. For $45, we ran an open house ad that does run on Facebook for 2 days. Okay. And so we did that. We used, in that particular case, it's a cul-de-sac. So we didn't have 25 signs, but we had 12. We had 3 in each direction on the main street. We had 2 on each direction pointing them into that house. We had a couple signs out in front of the house, but she had over 20 people come in over the 2 days. Many of them were younger people, and they said they did find it on the social media, on Facebook. That's how they came. We ended up getting a full price offer on Sunday for the house. Now, bad move, my opinion, on the other realtors' part. They gave us 48 hours to respond. So, we actually had another showing yesterday. We're supposedly getting a cash offer today. Regardless, it will be under contract today, and it's going to be under contract over the list price. Okay. So again, here's the market, here's the rates, all this stuff. I think if you advertise it right and price it right, you can still get these things sold. It's in a great neighborhood. He did a great job on the remodel of the house. It was priced at 473. I think we're going to be under contract for at least 475, 480 by the time we're done today. But things are still moving, and I'm just saying it's all stuff we learned in here and stuff that Mitch talked about, even today. But these masterminds, I appreciate you guys being here on Tuesdays, watching these. Feel free to send these out to people. These, of course, are always open to people. But I need to get that core app set up because we didn't have that. I had forgotten about that, so we could have used that this weekend for sure. But any other thoughts, questions, comments before we head out? Anybody?
Jeff, yes, let me ask real quick. The core app that you're talking about, I just want to be clear. Is it the KV Core app or is it a separate app called Core?
And Tracy, maybe you can jump in because you've been using it. I just downloaded it when he said it. I actually looked up Core Open House in the App Store, and there's an Open House app that attaches to KV Core. So it is specific for open houses, but it's used through KV Core. Tracy, you unmuted yourself. You've used it, yeah?
Yes, I've used it I've been doing it for 2 years, I think. So it's been out there, Adrian. I don't know of it on my phone. I've always downloaded to my iPad because I want them to sign in, and either on my computer. I've never put it on my phone. Okay. So, but yes, it is an app for open houses.
Okay, we'll check into that. So very cool. Chuck, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Guys, everybody, thank you for being here. Okay. Next Tuesday, we'll be back. Jessica Nieto is coming in for kind of part 2. She did this whole thing a while back using technology, talked a lot about AI, some different things. She mentioned Zapier. She kept talking about Zapier. Some of you use it. Many of us don't. She's going to talk about Zapier and how she uses that to link to everything. So that's going to be next week. It'll be just another tech tool that we can use to kind of enhance all this. I know Erin Kin is big on Zapier as well. So it's going to be good to see how she does that and incorporates that into all the stuff she's doing. So that'll be next Tuesday. The following Tuesday, we're into November. And so we'll hit our open mastermind, and then we'll carry on into the month of November. We got Erin King coming in for part 2 of his Google business stuff. Mitch is going to come back in and teach another class as well. So it's going to be a good month coming into November. But guys, have a great rest of your week. Have a good day. If we can help you at all, we're always here to help. Let us know. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Take care.